Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binaries of all ages, welcome to the show. If you're here to learn character creation, you're in the wrong place unless you don't care about doing it right, because we're definitely not doing it right. We're doing cat creation. This is how to make a literal cat in your favorite RPG. I'm Joel Holland, one of the hosts.
I'm Austin Irwin, the other one of the hosts.
And who's our third host tonight? Or I guess I should say guest.
Let's see. Let me check our ooh. Oh, this is weird. We don't have anybody on the list.
Huh. What do you know?
But,
I guess it does happen sometimes still.
yeah, sometimes it's just us.
And we're not lying this time.
Yeah, no, we're not pulling your leg. I was waiting for some third person to just jump into our call, but
Nope, not this time.
well, it's gonna be a nice little reset, you know. We're
Back to basics.
Yeah, back to basics. Just the two of us, you know.
Right. So, what do we do to like open this, since we've not had to do this on our own for a bit?
Oh man, I don't know. We have infinite possibilities now because we've opened so many, just the two of us.
Right? I don't know. Let's see. This will be coming out in February, so I suppose talking about what we got for Christmas would probably not be a great
Yeah, maybe not. That'd be a little dated by the time this comes out. We can't really say Happy New Year either, because I mean we'll already be a month in.
Plus, Valentine's is on an off week, so this is definitely not coming out on Valentine's or literally anywhere near it. It's neither of our episodes will be.
Oh wow, man! So this is just a plain bagel episode, you know?
I guess so. That was poor planning on the year's part.
Yeah. How could you do this to us, 2023? This is your fault, not ours.
Well, I guess we'll just have to do the best we can then. This one's your pick. You want to tell us about this game?
I would love to tell everybody about this game. We are playing the Tales of Xadia role-playing game.
Wait, I thought we weren't telling people about our Christmas gifts.
Oh, yeah, that's right. By the way, thank you. I really appreciate it. I've been nonstop, like, gawking at this book since I got it. Let's see. I gotta remember who this book is written by. But for those who don't know, this is a role-playing game based off of the Netflix original TV show The Dragon Prince. Very good, highly recommend it. The game handbook is by Cam Banks and Dan Telfer. That's who it says on the cover. But
and I know it's published by Dire Wolf. I don't know much about them other than their ties to the Cortex RPG system, which is what this game is based in. I've literally never played a Cortex game before, so this will be fun.
Yeah, I have not either, but I've reading through this book. It looks interesting. It looks pretty complex, but usually when we come across a complex system, those are the ones that have like the most in-depth character creation, which I am a huge fan of.
It has its pros and cons, but the pros are we get to decide a lot of things.
Yes, absolutely. I love this world. This world has a lot of really good, really fun lore, and the book introduces some new lore, but as I found out in my readings, not a lot, not the new lore that I wanted. So currently there are 4 seasons out for the show. And we get to learn there's humans and elves and everything, and there's different types of elves. There's there's 5 different human kingdoms, which are cool, and there's a lot of like fun little politics that they do throughout the show. But specifically the elves, we've been introduced to 4 of the 6 types of elves in the show, in terms of like what these elves do, what their history is, and everything. The 2 that I think we haven't been officially introduced to are the Tidebound elves and the Star Touch elves in the show. And I was hoping this book would be like, hey, guess what? For all you fun lore nerds out there, here's what these two elves, like these two elven people do. No, they're not in here.
I mean, have you watched the new season?
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I binged the entirety of it in the first day. I've seen it twice
I
already.
I guess that makes sense if you really want to make sure that it gets to end. But
Yeah.
they did give us a little bit about Star Touch elves, specifically one Star Touch elf.
Yes.
And but talking about him kind of revealed how they worked a little bit.
It did, which is why I really thought at least Star Touch elves would be in here, but I guess since they haven't...
Well, the book came out before that season, so...
That's true. I guess I didn't think about that.
And they're probably going to wait and reveal the second type of elf, and then make an expansion.
Yes,
for the game.
I believe they actually have it in here. Yes, 2 elven communities are missing from this book, Tidebound and Star Touch. Rules for these 2 elf groups may appear in future products as events unfold on the Dragon Prince. So be on the lookout for that. I know I will be.
Anyway, so yeah, that's the game. That's the deal with the game. We should probably go ahead and talk about like what we've got to follow. The book's rules will not be sacred, but the show's rules will be held sacred.
The show's rules are of the utmost importance. So Joel, start us off. What do we got?
All right, rule number 1. We accept no cop-outs. We are making a cat. It's the exact animal that comes to mind when I say the word. Not some anthropomorphic race, not a person turned into a cat, not a lion, not a tiger. Any cop-out you can imagine, we say no. It has to be a cat.
Yep. Rule number 2, homebrew is not real. If the rules do not explicitly allow something to happen, we count it as a rule broken. If we come across a rules as written versus rules as intended situation, we go with whichever one says no.
Sometimes it's hard to gather intention just like looking through the character creation rules exclusively, but we do our best. Anyway, rule 3, if the game includes stats for a literal cat, those must be used or adapted to the game's character sheet.
Now, I did not look this up. I do not believe there are stats for a literal cat in here.
I would be amazed if there are stats for a cat, because I don't think I've ever seen a cat on the show.
Let's see. I'm control effing for cats. For cats in this book, there's 636, most of which include the word cat being in another word. So I do not believe so.
Okay.
No cats in this book.
I wonder if there's some kind of like advanced search thing you can do that would like say like it has to be this. This is the complete phrase if it's part of another word. But I don't know Control F enough to do that.
Maybe if I put it in quotes. No.
You could try. No. What if you put a space after it?
Aha. There is one instance of the word cat.
And
it says it's apparently an asset, ? That says occasionally loyal cat. So cats do exist in this world. I was worried about that because I don't think we've ever seen a cat in the show. Not from what I can remember right now, but at least they exist in this world. So we're not creating a new entity of being.
I mean, we've seen a lot of normal animals, so like, I figured there was a chance, right? But
yeah.
Anyway, where were we?
Rule number 4. Yes. Rule number 4 is the character, class, background, playbook, job, what have you, has to exist in the game's core rules or as part of an official expansion. We cannot use homebrew classes. As we said, they don't exist.
Correct. The cat can learn any skill available to its class. We once had a cat that was able to like seal away people's superpowers because it worked for an organization that trained people to do that. We've had a cat that had engineering training and could work the cat gun. He made it for himself, as I recall. There was also a cat that was trained to fly a heavily modifiable spaceship.
Oh, what a good cat.
That was a good cat. Yep.
Let's see. Rule 6. If a tool would be physically impossible for a literal cat to use, even if comically downsized for them, they cannot use it. We're talking waffle irons, shirt irons,
The human gun.
the human gun, and perhaps even a tank. There's a lot of buttons in there. I don't think a cat can do all that.
Probably not on their own.
And finally, Joel.
Oh yeah, we also have to keep track of all the rules we break, so that if anyone ever asks, how many rules do you have to break to play a cat in this game, we can tell them approximately.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, like it's hard to always gauge intention just from reading the rules for the character creation section, so it's not always obvious if we've broken a rule as intended. But like we want to get you close.
Yeah. It's like vaguely, 5 rules need to be broken.
Yeah. Usually it's like 1 or 2, surprisingly.
Yes, surprisingly, a lot of character creators have loose enough bounds.
You just have to get past the initial, you were not supposed to play as a cat in this. Once you work past that, all kinds of possibilities open up.
Oh, yeah. So, with our rules out of the way, you want to jump into some cat creation.
What page is that? 112?
112 on the book, 118 on the PDF.
All right. For anyone following at home, there you go. So what does this say? If you're keen to jump right in, it's time to create a character of your own. Yes, jumping right in after 112 pages of book.
It's like a YouTuber with a 15-minute intro. It's like, let's just jump right into it, gamers.
Yep. This section has an easy-to-follow guide for creating your own character journal, which is what they call the character sheet in this game. It's not your sheet, it's your journal. It's like
the immersion, so realistic.
Mm-hmm. That's also what you say when people ask you about your diary. It's not my diary, it's my journal.
The journal, duh.
Don't you know the difference?
Yeah.
You see any, like, special weird stuff going on with this book? Actually, no. That would double make it a journal. And so yeah, we got our character journal, followed by an alternative method if you're ready to take off the guardrails. You think we're ready to take off the guardrails?
Oh, absolutely. When do we ever have guardrails on?
When we don't know the system.
Truly. Which, we're both new to this system, so...
I guess we'll have to see how we feel about Cortex.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you approach it, the end result is a fully formed player character with all of the same dice steps, trait options, and choices on display as the sample characters. You aren't missing out on anything. If somebody else at the table is playing Asgon or Rothna and you're playing someone new, nobody's at a disadvantage. If you're considering playing a mage, take a moment to read So You Want to Play a Mage on page 129. I know we've not always, worried about this too much, but I feel like a more literal cat is probably not going to be all that practiced in the dark arts, which I feel would be a necessity in this story world based on how magic works.
So are you saying you want to play as a mage, or you want to steer away?
I'm saying, like, if the goal is to make a literal cat, I feel like we can't argue that a mundane cat would be able to do anything other than dark magic, and I'm not sure that a cat would have the capacity to do dark magic. The incantations alone might be
a
turnoff.
The cat would first off have to be able to speak English or whatever the humans in this world speak, and then they'd also have to be able to say those words and phrases backwards.
Yep.
Well, then we can continue. We're just making a literal cat, plain old cat born on the human lands. So let's see. We've got a few bullet points here. Who are your people? Choose your kindred distinction. What do you do? Choose your vocation distinction. What makes you different? Choose your quirk. What are you capable of? Choose your abilities. What do you believe? Choosing your values. What helps you? Choosing your specialties and assets. What makes you special? Unlock your SFX. And who are you? Choose your name and pronouns. Interesting. I notice a lot of creators do that at the very end.
Yeah, it's It's the thing now.
Mm-hmm.
You name the character at the end after you know everything about them.
Yeah. That'd be like if our parents, had us and then waited until we were like 27 and then they're like, okay, I got a pretty good idea of who you are. I think, you know what? I think you're a Jerry.
Imagine though, like if that was the case, you'd have to deal with you don't have to deal with your parents arguing about what to name you because you're not born under our current system, at least where I live.
Yeah.
Imagine though if like it really was 27 and then you just had to deal with 27 years of your parents throwing out potential names and the other one being like I absolutely hate it.
Yeah. Plus, would you even have a say? Would you be like, "Mom, Dad, come on, I'm not an Eric. That's ridiculous." If anything, I'm a Steve at best.
We first have to decide what is it?
Who?
Choose your kindred distinction,
Yes. So
which is who are your people on the very next page here.
Let's see. So this is your kindred distinction. Decide if you're going to play a human or an elf by choosing which community your player character comes from and was raised in. Choosing your kindred distinction affects your values but has no effect on your attributes or specialties. Those are separate from how you were raised and remain your choice. Well, we're playing as neither human nor elf.
Well, what we've done in the past in this situation is we base our stats and stuff around the community part of it. So, like, obviously we're not a human, but we could have been raised Neolandian or something.
Yeah.
Actually, let's just go down here, because, like, I know we decide values much later, but, like, we've got a list here, and each of these gives a bonus to a certain value.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do we think our cat values? Do they value liberty, devotion, justice, mastery, glory, truth, devotion again, liberty again, or mastery again?
That's a good question. Part of me wants to say devotion, because I feel like once cats set their mind on things, they're pretty devoted. Like, if they want to get up on top of the cabinets, by God, they're going to do it. And if they want to knock a glass of water off the counter, they're going to do it no matter how many times you tell them no. But
Is that the devotion that it means, is the question.
That is a good question. I don't know if they have explanations of those later on.
I'll bet they do.
Surely somewhere.
Your values are a central part of your character, and like your attributes, they form the core of your dice pool. Your choices along the way so far have given you a number of dice steps in your values already. At this stage in the process, let's review and see what you have. It's on page 66, apparently.
That is a little ways away.
Yeah, let me get to that. Devotion is obligation to others. It's about duty, faith, and friendship.
Okay.
Liberty might be good. Have you ever resisted the control of others?
I was just looking at that. That one does sound interesting. I think if this cat's going on an adventure, across this strange and wild world, I think liberty would definitely be a good one.
All right. Now, the other thing to consider is, like, yes, that gives us a +1, but we're going to get the opportunity, it sounds like, to just, like, add our own value stats later.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we don't necessarily have to consider that, but if we wanted to, Delbarian might be, the place to start.
Yeah. I think we can start Delbarian because, like you said, it'll give us that +1 right off the bat. Plus, I don't think for a cat it really matters which community you were raised in.
That's probably accurate. It's going to matter more, like, I think family, like, lore-wise, is going to matter more. What kind of people raised you?
Exactly. So, let's see. Their place to write down Delbarian. Does not look like it. I can put it in the bio.
Could be one of those things that, like, we realize what it's supposed to be later. Is it supposed to be a relationship? Or no, it's a kindred distinction.
Yes. Oh, yeah, there it is, kindred. Okay. +1, liberty.
Alright.
Okay. So we have our kindred distinction.
Yep. Now we need our family.
I believe so. Digging a little deeper, who was your family within that community? If you're an elf, your only option
So this
is
is
elf.
also part of the kindred distinction.
Yes, it looks like it.
Okay, cool.
So we have city folk for +1 mastery, free folk devotion, noble for glory, elf for devotion, hinterlander for liberty, traditionalist for justice, exile for truth, and isolationist for liberty.
This is more determining where the cat is from than some of the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where's your family from? Is this a city cat? Is this a country cat? Is this another mountain cat?
That is a good question. We could always roll for these as well if we want to,
All right, so let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One of the options is not available to our community, but that's fine. Where's my Discord window? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm using it to look at your screen.
Well, I have a D8 here I could roll.
That'll work. That's better than my plan.
What was your plan?
To go find my old Discord server and hope nobody is in it anymore so that I can just use the bot to roll a randomized, personally generated die, because you can, say, roll 1d7 and it'll just pick a number between 1 and 7 for you.
Oh, that's cool. If I get an 8, I will simply re-roll it.
Okay.
I got a 3, so we are raised in a noble family. Interesting.
Oh, hey, I see here they actually had a die roll for this.
Did they?
Yeah, it's just like family, value, page, and then dice.
Oh, yeah.
They actually recommended this method, and we ignored it. But did it anyway.
Technically, we didn't ignore it. But yeah, we kind of ignored
it. Yeah. Liberty and glory.
Yep.
So now we gotta choose our job.
Oh, boy.
What's Bates' job?
Being cute. Let's see. There's a list of 40 jobs and professions on page 256. You can rename them to be more specific. Alternatives are suggested in the full breakdown. Each one comes with a locked SFX and a value is with associated role.
Huh, okay, so let's go to 256, I guess.
Oh, that's actually really cool. You can straight up click the 256 that's in the text right there, and it sends you straight to that page.
Man, I wish I would have realized that. I actually typed in the number, and now I gotta scroll.
It's 262 out of 312 on the PDF.
I found it.
Wow, there are a lot. There's like 10 full pages.
We've got advisor, animal keeper. That one would be funny. Archer, artisan, assassin in their dreams, athlete, botanist, child, competitor, cook, counselor. I shouldn't read all of these.
There's
too
a
many
lot.
jobs to just read them all. Let's see. If you see anything that stands out?
Oh,
scavenger.
Scavenger would be a good one. Scout
might be good. Thief.
Ooh.
So scavenger, scout, or thief. Let's read with because they all come with an ability, right?
Yes.
So thief is sleight of hand. When you win a contest, you may choose a second effect die to represent an asset you have stolen from your opponents.
Interesting.
Scout is on the road. Spend a PP, whatever that is, to add to both your agility and awareness dice to your dice pool in a test, contest, or challenge that deals with pathfinding, stealth, or wilderness travel instead of just one attribute.
Okay.
And what was the other one? Scavenger. New to me. Step up your effect die once when you succeed on an asset test to find something used or abandoned. In terms of understanding what's happening, I like Scavenger and Thief the best.
Oh, that's interesting. I really like Scout.
We appear to be at an impasse.
So the reason I like Scout is because, I mean, besides the PP, I'm sure we'll get to that at some point during the creation.
Well, maybe not. It could just be like a thing on the character sheet somewhere that like.
True. I believe there is actually a point for all your PP.
What do you know?
But in terms of like pathfinding, stealth, or wilderness travel, Well, maybe this cat gets out a lot. But they are raised by nobles, so maybe it's not the best thematically for this cat.
Maybe. But even so, it would have like instincts. It would have its senses that maybe its human companions lack.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that one of the variations on Scout for like flavor is Bandit.
Yeah. Bandit or Ruffian.
Let's see, what are the variations on some of the other ones that we've looked at?
Scavenger.
What? Here's another one maybe. Tracker, Fisher, Hunter, Slayer.
Oh.
Those are its variations. Keen Eye, spend a PP to double your awareness or agility die in your dice pool when following a trail, aiming at a distant target, or spotting something far off.
That second one may not be useful, but those first two, those first two are pretty, or the first and last one are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like Tracker. Also, looking at Scavenger more, I think that could be fun too. But
Scavenger, it kind of sounds like, yes, like we've all at least heard of a cat that has like just stolen random things from around the house and hidden them under the couch, but like I don't know about like some of the variations it has, like Tinker, Vagabond, Wanderer. Like Tinker kind of betrays kind of what it seems like they think the Scavenger does.
Yeah. Well, I'm good with Tracker if you are.
I like Tracker.
Okay. So is that our vocation?
That is part of the vocation. I think there's more to it. Let me get back to the character creation section on it. What do you do? Common vocation. We also have to choose an adjective.
Okay. Common adjectives are right next to them.
Okay. Let me read the thing. Common vocations. Adjectives give you some context to your vocation. They describe your most notable quality within your vocation, setting you apart from others who share it. Adjectives provide many more opportunities to use your vocation distinction in dice pools. All right. So, what do we have here for that?
We have a lot. Got adaptable, ambitious, aspiring, begrudging, brazen, brooding, cheerful, clever, cloistered, conflicted, considerate, creative. All right. Lot of these.
Jaded.
Jaded. Oh, that's a good one.
I don't know. Would a cat get jaded, or like? Do you think a cat would ever get jaded, or would it just remain forever curious?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like older
I think
cats,
it's funny, but
yeah, I feel like older cats can get jaded. They're just done with everything. They just sit around all the time, and they're like, "Please, leave me alone. I just want to get my 5 hours of sleep in, and then finally, I'll be ready to look at the world." There's also silent. Cats don't talk a lot.
Yeah, that depends on the cat.
True. My cat talks a ton every day when I come home. He's just yelling at me. I'm like, all right, man, we gotta we gotta figure out how to speak somehow.
Could be a vigilant tracker.
Ooh. Vigilant tracker. I think vigilant sounds pretty cool.
I think so too.
All right, go with vigilant tracker then.
Okay, so the values on that are, where is it? Vigilant is liberty.
And then I have the one for tracker is mastery.
I think that's correct, yes. And then we get the abilities Sure Sense. When you roll a hitch while using your awareness attribute, you can spend a PP to re-roll your dice pool. You must keep the result of the new roll.
Right.
And then Tracker also comes with an ability. The Keen Eye ability thing.
Okay.
Spend a PP to double your awareness or agility die in your dice pool when following a trail, aiming at a distant target, or spotting something far off. You got all that?
I do have all that.
Alright, let me get back up to the correct section for creating your character. What do you do? We got what we do.
So we got common vocations, common adjectives.
Oh, hey, what do you know? They had a simple table for us right here.
True, they did. But
we could have rolled for it.
Did we want to make things simple? Nah.
Obviously not. When have we ever wanted to do that?
Listen, Joel, people come to our podcast for a real in-depth / scan of of these systems. You know,
Yeah.
we scan over everything and go in depth on accident. Magical vocations, location based adjectives.
We've already chosen our adjective and vocation, so I think we can skip those. Now, what makes us built different?
We're simply better.
It's the fact that we're so tiny.
We're just a little guy or gal.
Exactly. We haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, quirks set you apart from anyone else who shares the same kindred and vocation distinction as you. Quirk distinctions can be extremely open-ended, peculiar, or prosaic. This is where you inject more of your PC's personality, their favorite sayings or phrases, meow, or just something fun that stands out about them. Remember, your quirk should be at least capable of making things difficult for you from time to time. You want to be able to activate your hinder SFX after all. Do we?
That depends. I really don't know what the hinder SFX is, though.
Yeah, I didn't read this book beforehand, so...
I only got so far because, man, is this a long book. I believe it's bigger than the Dungeon Master's Guide.
Well, that's not hard. They split the DM's handbook and the player handbook and even the monster manual. That's
fair.
You need all three. They're separate books.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair though, you really don't need the monster manual for D&D. Because if you're like me, you just create all your monsters. Because I do not care.
Fair enough.
Let's see. There is a chart of quirks on page 256. But let's scroll down. They do have a simple table.
Do we want to roll for our quirks this time just so that we can say we tried a little bit of both ways?
Yeah, I think so. So looks like we need a D4 and a D10.
Actually, I feel like for quirks specifically, I don't know, let's look at these. Is there any that sound like it would be impossible for a literal cat to do?
Oh, that's a good question. Dark secrets. Well, actually, cats could probably be really good at keeping secrets. A song for all occasions. Yeah,
that might be difficult.
Yeah.
Although, what is the song of... cats do have the song of their people, and they sing it whenever they're hungry.
It's true. Act first, think later. Definitely used for a cat. Anything for my fans. Yeah. Ahead of the pack. Yeah. Blunt braggart. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that.
They
like to show off, right?
Yes, braggart is a person who boasts about achievements or possessions. So I think a cat could do that. Just be like, "Hey, look at this mouse I caught."
Yeah, Destiny, a book I write myself.
Such a good line. My favorite line in that show is Destiny is a book you write yourself. God, it goes so hard. Let's see. Pickled luck, friend of the forest, ironic. My scars are my armor, no time to cry, tell it to the trees, watchful expatriate. To be honest,
I think we could make most of these work for a cat.
Yeah. They seem pretty vague.
There's one that I think would be... We'll have to read, specifics, because we've got page numbers we can go to for that, but, there's a couple here that I would really like to get, but I'm also happy to leave it up to fate.
Okay. Well,
Fate in this case is a D10 and a D4.
Yes. So I accidentally grabbed a D8. Hold up. I don't know my numbers. Alright, here we go. We've got a 2 on the D4 and a 5 on the D10. Heavy weighs my shame.
Okay, let's go to page 266 and see if that's actually because that also comes with an ability. Heavy weighs my shame. Values truth and justice. Ability had it coming. When you push insecure stress, you do not have to spend a PP. Aren't PPs those guys from Neoscum?
Yes, the PPs. Oh man, I hope people out there get that reference. And if you don't, go listen to Neoscum. It's a good podcast.
Yeah. Although, if they do go and listen to Neo Scum and they get into it, there's a lot of episodes at this point. They'll spend so much time catching up, they won't listen to this one.
That's true. Make sure you keep up on it though, for sure.
Yeah. Unless you're just here for this episode. We get it.
Yeah, we get it. So here's the thing with Heavy Weighs My Shame.
Yeah.
I really don't know what this perk will end up doing for us.
It's hard to know exactly what the mechanical effects would be, but I'm more worried about how do we find a lore explanation for this cat being deeply ashamed of something in its past.
Ooh, that's a good one. Do cats even have shame? Let's be real.
I mean, it could just be something that we don't know what cats think about. They can't tell us in complex words.
True.
So you never know. They could be thinking about that one time they fell off the piano and hit their head for their entire life, even though it happened when they were a kitten, and they just remember that, and it keeps them up at night, and you would never know.
That's true. Maybe that's what this cat did. It comes from a noble family. Maybe they were. Maybe there was an important event going on, like a nice ball or gala, and this cat fell down right onto the pianist's hands as they were performing a lovely soft piece, and then you just hear just the crunch of all of the keys at the same time.
Startling the cat.
The cat, all the guests.
Forcing it to jump off and land in the punch bowl.
Terrible.
Which was being carried by at that exact moment.
Terrible shame.
I can never mess up in front of anyone ever again.
Yeah, it's they think they have to be the the person or the cat.
Exactly.
I never make mistakes.
Not after that night.
So let's see. This cat, we don't have a name for it yet, never makes mistakes around others.
Don't forget the had it coming ability.
Copy and paste.
Oh, does that work?
It does. The little PP symbol doesn't really show up, but
oh, well, that's fine.
I can just type that in, NBD.
Yeah, in regular text. All right. So back up to quirks then. We got after quirks. What are you capable of? Now you discover what your character's attribute die ratings are. Every PC begins with the same total number of die steps in their attributes, where 4 is 1 step, 12 is 5 steps, 4 is 1 step, and 12 is 5 steps. To make this simple, we've created 2 distinct arrangements of these steps, which you can assign to your attributes as you wish. Note that neither of these arrangement has a die rating of 12. See page 65 for a refresher on the 6 attributes: agility, awareness, influence, intellect, spirit, and strength. I might do that later if I have any questions about why I might want one over the other, but for now, let's look at these 2 arrangements. The focused arrangement. A character with a focused arrangement of attributes favors 2 attributes more than the others, at the cost of having 1 attribute that's very low.
Use the focused arrangement if you want to be really strong in 2 attributes, enjoy a character with notable disadvantage, and can't decide on 1 attribute to be your highest. Oppositely, we have the versatile arrangement. A character with a versatile arrangement might only have 1 attribute in which they're the strongest, but they have a wider spread of good attributes at the 8 rating.
I kind of like the idea of having, 1 stat we're just bad at.
I do too. I'm always a fan of characters having flaws, because
yeah,
if you just have a Mary Sue who's good at everything, it doesn't make for interesting roleplay, or even it can even get into things like combat, for example. I make sure whenever I make a character for D&D or anything, even NPCs and stuff, I always make sure to give them a flaw, so that eventually, the party will figure it out, or I will play it up in specific scenarios. I have a monk who's incredible at fighting. She's great at what she does, but she is dumber than a bag of rocks. So when it comes to any situation that doesn't involve solving it with your fist, she's terrible at it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like the focused arrangement.
Okay. Now I guess we need to decide where those stats go. Oh, hey, we have even more archetypes they're going to offer us here.
Yeah, the
to assign our attributes rating. So we don't even have to go with the ones listed above. We can just, like, read these.
Alright.
Awkward academic, brawn not brains, charming klutz, confident combatant, distractedly determined, empathetic pushover, glass-jawed, hardened hero, keen wit, nimble philosopher, observant introvert, or smartest person in the room. Do we think any of these fit our cat?
Could be observant introvert.
Maybe. Let's see what the stats are for that. 8 agility, 10 awareness, 4 influence, 8 intellect. I feel like I'd want to switch some things around.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, because I think agility should be a 10.
Yeah.
Spirit I don't really care about, because, well, actually, what does Spirit do? I'm going to go back to page 66 real quick and look that up. You know, just before I say something I'm going to regret. So we've got intellect. Spirit is your mental resolve and emotional reserves. Use this when the situation requires courage, determination, perseverance, or willpower. Okay, so that's better than I thought. I was afraid I was saying, like, I was afraid that was, like, the magic stat.
Yeah.
But let's see, it doesn't look like there is the magic stat.
Mm-mm.
Which is nice.
That's very good.
Especially since some characters just don't get magic.
Yeah, if you're playing as a human, you can use dark magic, I think, but beyond that...
Yeah, there's rules on how to play a dark mage.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's its own specific set of rules.
So, like, any player can use magic. It's just, there's not a specific stat for it, because there are characters who won't use magic.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I think is a good way to do it. Yes,
because, like, in other systems, if you don't need a stat for your character to be good at what you're doing, you know... I'm going to keep using D&D as an example because that's just the system I have the most experience in. If you're making a mage, you really don't need strength, so whatever your lowest stat is going to be, everybody automatically puts that into strength when they're playing a mage.
Right.
So it's nice to not have to worry about, like, oh, which of these stats is going to be most beneficial to my build?
Yeah, and see, I hate that because, like, if you think about how magic is done in real life, like dark magic and stuff, and I don't literally mean that I think magic is real, but, like, people will do, like, you know, blood sacrifices where they'll, like, you know, cut their hand open in order to drain the blood and all that.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get blood as a component for the spell.
That requires some strength and some dedication.
What? Yeah, that requires some strength and dedication. So honestly, like, because of things like that, I feel like being a wizard is something that should require some stamina, and therefore we should see way more jacked wizards.
Absolutely. One of my favorite images on the internet right now is that like that really old wizard that's like in mid casting a spell, but he doesn't have the top half of his robes on, and he's just shredded. If you know what image I'm talking about,
I think I do.
It is so good because I'm like, yes, that is a wizard. That is a man who is dedicated to the craft, and he's out foraging for the ingredients that he needs. If anybody's gonna take a dragon down so he can use dragon blood in his spell, it's gonna be him.
Exactly. See, that's the one reason that I like Fairy Tail, because Fairy Tail is the only one who does wizards right. Wizards absolutely would train up their body and punch people.
Mm-hmm. Especially in this world, specifically in Xadia. If you've seen the show, you know how long it takes to cast a spell. In this show, you don't always have the time.
Exactly.
So, back to stats. I think we can do the observer introvert, but like you said, we can flip some stuff around. We're not hard coded to the book's rules. I think
Yeah.
influence should stay our 4 stat because I feel
Yeah.
like a cat wouldn't have a ton of influence on their group.
Probably not. At least not influence that they would exert willingly. Like,
Yeah.
or that no, they would. It's just they don't actually have the power to make things happen, just to annoy you until they do it.
Yeah. So I think you said you wanted agility as a 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Agility 10, awareness probably would be our 8, right?
Yeah.
One of our 8s.
Well, I don't know. I think agility and awareness would be two decent tens for a cat,
Mhm.
especially with the stats that we've given it. Or not
True.
the stats, but like the background that we've given it.
Yeah, because it would definitely want awareness now after the incident.
Mm. Yeah.
Uh,
But spirit as an 8, that's not too bad. And strength as a 6, that's a fair amount of strength for a tiny creature.
yeah, I agree. All right.
And like we have here like a little bit of a quick refresher on the stats. Like it goes from 12 down to 4, but we've got 10, 8, 6 and 4 as like our opening ability capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a 10 attribute is significant. You can use this almost all the time, and your character is definitely known for this attribute. An 8 is notable. You use this often, whether you have 2 of them or 3. They form the basis of most of the activity you undertake. A 6 is average. You use this from time to time. Nobody is going to really think about you in these terms, and neither will you. And a 4 attribute is underdeveloped. You don't think about this much. In fact, you may well be known for your lack of ability or performance in this area.
Mm. Nice. I will say, despite there being a lot of things to keep track of so far in this book, it does a really good job at explaining exactly what everything is used for.
Mm-hmm. And like, I like how this is like, because this is kind of like how Kids on Bikes does it, and a couple other games. Like one that I've worked on a system that's kind of done it like this. You don't have like hard coded stat numbers. You just have like this is your die for this stat. You can roll a d4, and so therefore a 4 is the highest you can possibly get because this is not what you're good at. Versus again, this is Kids on Bikes, but like you can roll a d20. That doesn't mean you're always going to succeed, but your capacity for succeeding at higher things is better than literally anyone else.
Yeah.
So like you could get a challenge rating of 18 and you're probably still gonna fail, but you have a D20 in that stat, so you can try.
Yeah, you can at least have a shot versus somebody who has like a D12 in that stat.
Mm-hmm.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
I still have yet to check out Kids on Bike. We might want to do that
Well,
at some point.
it's kind of it's a very simplified system, and like we typically don't do the parts of character creation that are done as a group.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nearly the entirety of character creation in Kids on Bikes and its spin-off games Kids on Brooms and Teens in Space. So like I don't know exactly how we would do those on here. Like I know we talked about like we almost had a guest on who wanted to do that, but like he's changed his mind. We're doing Marvel Multiverse, the playtest version of it anyway.
Excited. A sneak peek, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it has the full character creation stuff, so like we'll be good. But
And that's all we need.
yeah,
Oh.
but
So
anyway, yeah, we almost did Kids on Bikes, but we determined that like it was gonna be difficult to like make a full episode out of it. But I think I mentioned this in Discord a while back, but I think it would be fun to do like it obviously couldn't be a normal episode. It'd have to be like a bonus episode or like, just some kind of bonus content. But if we could get us and I don't know, a special guest and maybe George to join us, then we'd have a party and we could do
like a full
like a little one shot in Kids on Bikes.
ooh, that'd be fun. That's some future that's some future content right there, possibly.
Mm-hmm. Put that on the shelf next to Apocalypse Party.
Yeah. and our shelf is gonna get full eventually. But that's good because that means we'll keep the ball rolling for stuff.
Yeah. Our bonus content lineup is filling up faster than we have time to make bonus content.
Truly.
Because we've not had time to make any bonus content at all so far.
Nope, not yet. But we'll get there eventually.
Hopefully. Anyway, let's get back on some kind of track. Now we need to decide, what do you believe? Your values are a central part of your character, and like your attributes, they form the core of your dice pool. Your choices along the way so far have given you a number of dice steps in your values already. At this stage in the process, let's review and see what you have. So that would be on our character sheet, right? We have some steps up in our character sheet because we got a +1 liberty, +1 glory, +1 liberty again, +1 mastery, and then heavy weighs my shame also had some.
Oh, did it?
Ooh. What page was that on? I think it was justice, and I can't remember the other one.
I believe it was page 266, right?
265. No, it was page 66.
Values are truth and justice.
Okay. Your values all begin at a base of 4. If you do nothing else, your value is at the 4 die rating, and the value doesn't matter to your character at all. You get 2 steps in values from your kindred distinction. This reflects... okay, so we just talked about what those were.
Yeah.
For all the distinctions. Bonus steps. That's a total of 6 steps in your values on top of the 6 steps you already have from each value starting at 4. So, I guess what that means is, like, the steps is, like, so it starts at 4. If you get a +1, that makes it a D6. If you got another +1, that would make it a D8, and so on.
Okay. So, we've got a D8 in Liberty. We'll have a D6 in Glory, Mastery, Truth, and Justice. And then that leaves us with...
And that's so far.
Yes, and that leaves us with a D4 in Devotion right now.
Okay. Honestly, that could be fine, depending on whether or not we think this cat likes its family.
Truly, yeah. Maybe he blames them for the incident. Should have put that piano there, or that punch bowl. Okay, so we have bonus steps. There's a total of 6 steps in your values. On top of the 6 steps, you already have from each value starting at 4. Now you may place 3 additional steps in any values you like. You can step a 4 up to a 10, or step up 3 6s to 8s. Oh, okay.
Or, a 4 up to a 6, and then an 8 to a 12. But nothing higher than 12.
Yes. So, what do we want to add our 3 steps in?
I think we should add 1 to Devotion, just like... Because I feel like, a noble cat that's had a decent life, aside from the incident, is going to generally be cool with its family.
Yeah. So
like, maybe not super cool, but they'd be cool.
They feed him, so... they like
him.
Let's see. Another step.
I don't think this cat would care all that much about justice or glory.
Yeah, same. I think we could put at least 1 step in Liberty again.
Yeah.
And then...
maybe 1 in Mastery?
Yeah.
I feel like our cat cares about being good at things.
Yes, because, heavy weighs their shame.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The incident was a very defining event in their life.
So we have a 6 in Devotion, Glory, and Justice, a 10 in Liberty, 8 in Mastery, and a 6 in Truth, for those following along at home.
Sounds good.
All right. Write your value statements next. Now that you have all 6 values assigned with die ratings, it's time to write up your value statements. If you want, you can leave this until your first session when you start playing with your character. Start playing your character with other player characters. It's possible you don't really know your character that well yet, and you'd like to give some more time to get used to them.
I don't know. Do you think you know this cat well enough to decide their values?
That's tough. Because, on one hand, I feel like we could make some good justifications for our values right now. While on the other hand, I like leaving things up to people who want to play these characters.
Right.
What do you think? 'Cause I could go either way, honestly. And even if we just want to make a couple, we can, and then leave the rest up to others.
Let's see. Now that you have all 6 values assigned to die ratings, it's time to write it. Okay, we already read that. Value statements are designed to be questioned. At some point, you are going to put your character into a situation where they might not be sure if they believe what they've always thought to be true. This in turn gives you a brief moment of clarity and extra dice, but it also steps that value down until the end of the session. And then they give the example from the show of Claudia trying to get Soren to kill Rayla in her sleep.
Yeah, it doesn't seem rewarding.
So the best advice they have is to think of a single, possibly controversial or bold statement about that value that you think your character believes. Don't get too attached to it. You may rewrite it later. Okay, I think if it's something that's supposed to be rewritten, we can just go ahead and fill some things in.
Okay, yeah. If we can rewrite it at any time, then we can definitely make some stuff for this.
Mm-hmm. We can give our cat a starting point at the very least.
Yeah. So let's see. Devotion. We already kind of know what we have for devotion, This cat likes their family, but is still cautious around them, maybe.
I'm wondering if these are supposed to be like I statements. Because like it's a statement of the cat's values.
Got you. So
like from the cat's perspective. So like, my family means the world to me. Would I die for them? Eh.
Okay, I like that. All right. Glory. Maybe something like, I don't wish to achieve much in this life, just a warm bed.
Maybe. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Let's see. Justice. Who has time to hold a grudge? Because that's one of our lower steps.
Yeah. All right.
Because like, I'm also thinking in terms of like, this is an animal who has a very simplistic view of the world.
Yeah.
Probably. So like, their entire sense of justice is basically just like what you do to others and what you want others to do to you.
Mm-hmm. The golden rule.
Yeah. And like that, things are well enough for them that they don't have time to worry about like being petty for long. It's the for long that's the point though. Anyway, liberty. Let's see. Liberty is something they value greatly. So, let's see. I should be allowed to explore where I want when I want.
Yeah, I like that. I was thinking of something along the same lines.
And mastery is, I think, where we could say, I can't let them see me fail.
Yes. Which, to be fair, we have a good stat in it, but that's not a good statement to have about mastery. Just FYI.
Yeah, they're gonna be disappointed quite often with that, I think.
Yeah.
Truth. Reality can be what I want. No. I got nothing.
Yeah, I really can't think of anything for truth. All cats land on their feet. That's
You know what? I'll take it. Who's gonna prove it wrong? You? How would you prove it? By being an asshole? That just makes you an asshole.
Yeah. What do you gotta prove to us, huh? Gotta prove to the world.
Alright, anyway. So, we got our value statements now. Next step. What helps you? Beyond your distinctions, attributes, and values, your PC is aided in their adventures by 2 important types of traits: their specialties and their assets. The die ratings for these 2 types of traits come from the same pool of total dice. Every character starts with 1 specialty and 1 asset. One starts out at an 8 and one starts out at a 6. Next, you can either assign 1 more specialty and 1 more asset, each at 6, assign 2 more specialties at 6, assign 2 more assets at 6, assign 1 specialty at 6, and step up an existing asset at 6 or specialty to an 8. Assign 1 asset a 6, and step up an existing 6 asset or specialty to an 8. That may seem like a lot, but at the end of this process, you should have a combined total of either 3 or 4 assets and specialties. If the latter, only one of them is going to be an 8.
Nice. Also, I want to point out that on this page, there is a magical cat in the artwork.
There is indeed. It's got like 6 insect antennas coming out of its ears.
It's so interesting.
At least I think they're antennas. They could be like, one of those like magic glowy spore fungus things.
Oh, true. The mushroom
or just
cat.
or just some other magic appendage we can't process fully because of the type of artwork.
True. Either way, I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, fair enough. Specialties. You can start with as many as 3 specialties. They're rated either as 6 or an 8. Here's a reminder what that means. I think we should only have 1 to start with.
Mm-hmm.
We can decide on like, let's just first go and grab our 1 specialty and our 1 asset, and then we'll go decide how to spend the other points.
Yeah. So we have a lot of options here. Kind of scanning through them, seeing what's good. Sneaking, classic.
Knife fighting,
easy.
We've given too many cats knives.
Yeah, a strange amount of our cats have knives.
Thievery,
yep. Tracking, unarmed combat too. Use your bare hands, feet, and other body parts.
I do like the idea of this cat having some criminal instinct. Like I know we came across that earlier, and we didn't go that way, but we have another opportunity, and now I'm thinking about it again.
I think we can do it this time.
Okay.
So thievery.
Thievery is one of our specialties. Now, what's our assets? These are things that are important to you and which help you in your adventures. They don't even have to be physical things, but it's often much easier to think about objects or helpful items than abstract concepts, so we favor those as player characters' assets most of the time. Your choice of assets come from broad categories: helpful tools, friendly creatures, and weapons and armor. It also includes magic assets, but that's discussed in the next section. Although you can add SFX to assets in play, your assets won't start with any. They're assigned a die rating, and that's it for now. Here's a list of assets we used in the sample players and earlier in the book. Many of these and more are on the table on page 124, which is the next page, I think. Yep.
Yes.
But let's look at these, because some of them, this is probably not something we can just roll for.
Yeah, no. So, I'm going to take a look at this table.
Glowtoad.
Fisticuff claws. That's built into our character.
True. I mean, they can be abstract, so it doesn't literally have to be like a physical object. So we could just like make our razor sharp claws and teeth into an asset.
True. Would you like to do that?
I think it would make sense.
Yeah. So we'll do claws and teeth, and then both of these start at D6, right?
Claws and teeth would go under assets, not
Oh, yep, that's specialty.
Yeah, and then one starts at a D6 and one starts at a D8. So, do we want them to be a better thief or have sharper claws and teeth? I think it's worth noting here, their strength is one of their worst stats.
Yeah. So, maybe we put the D8 into claws and teeth to kind of balance it out.
Yeah, that would offset it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We can either choose 1 more asset or 2 more assets. Can you think of another asset? I hate to min-max on our worst stat, but like we could easily probably add a second specialty, unarmed combat, and that would also supplement our low strength roll. Combat at least.
I was kind of thinking about that as well. Let's do that. Because, to be fair, the entire time somebody is playing this cat, they're going to be unarmed combat.
Yeah. Now, we can either make that a D8, or we can keep it as a D6 and choose 1 more specialty or asset.
Ooh. See, I'm trying to think of what other asset we could have. Like,
I can't think of a single other asset, but there is 1 more potential specialty listed here: sneaking.
Yes, I was also thinking about sneaking.
Okay.
Because that would go well with the thievery asset as well.
Yeah. So all those would be D6s, but we would have them.
Yes. I think that's a good balance.
Yeah. Plus, of course, people who are playing this cat would be able to step those up on their own later.
Yes. All right. So I think that's all for specialties and assets.
Yep.
Okay. Next up, what makes you special? Now it's time to Now it's time to pick your special effects or your SFX. These are exceptions to the way the game works that you can invoke during tests, contests, and challenges, and some other times. Every PC gets the Hinder SFX 3 times, once for each distinction. When you choose your 3 distinctions, you made a list of SFX that came with each. This breaks down as follows. Kindred distinction, 6 locked SFX, 3 from community, 3 from family, plus Hinder. Vocation distinction, 2 locked SFX, 1 from vocation, 1 from objective, plus Hinder. Quirk distinction, 1 locked SFX, plus Hinder. You can find the full list of SFX associated with distinctions under your distinctions in detail on page 252.
Okay, I don't think we listed those, so we might have to go back and do that.
Are the SFX the pluses we get?
I think that it's the like abilities that they describe. So like you wrote under the distinctions, like you have what is it for vigilant tracker? There's
Sure Sense and Keen Eye.
Is there a spot on the character sheet specifically for SFX? Because those might go there.
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
well,
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
them...
That's the spot for him. SFX.
Oh,
right here on the
okay.
side.
Well, what do you know? Okay, so I guess we just have to go look up what it is for the kindred distinctions, and it sounds like there's a lot of them.
Oh boy. Page 252. Kindred distinctions. Delbarian. Okay, it looks like there's. I believe it said we could choose 2, right?
No, it says there's 6. There's 3 from the community, 3 from family. So we get all of them.
Oh, we get all of them. Oh boy. Okay, well, I'm just gonna have to copy and paste these.
We might just have to go with the names and leave like it up to the player to reference them, because that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot of text. So
we have a very small form fillable box.
Yeah, this text. What's it called?
The text box.
Not just the text box. The actual text size is very small. Hunting party, resolute, tall tales, and then from our family distinction, we are where'd it go? Noble. We get lap of luxury, saving face, and you there.
You there. Stop. You have violated the law. I've never even played Oblivion.
Okay.
And then we all get the Hinder.
Yes, which is listed on the character sheet itself.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
So
unlocking SFX. We've already got that. Your 3 Hinder SFX are already unlocked. Of the remaining 9 SFX you picked, you may choose to unlock 2 of them. These unlocked ones may be used in play. The rest must be unlocked using grow. Okay, so we don't have all of them to start.
Okay, so we get to unlock.
We only get to unlock 2 to start with.
Okay, so
I guess just like put unlocked in parentheses after the ones that you unlock. The
which
text on this sheet is very tiny, and I cannot read it because my resolution is too low. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That doesn't help much, but it helps a little.
Let me see if I can zoom in some more. Because I'm not going to lie, I was definitely having a hard time reading that, even at 125%.
Okay, so let's see. Kindred effects are Hunting Party, Resolute, Tall Tales, Lap of Luxury, Save Face, and You There. Do we want any of those?
That is a good question. Let me go back to 252.
Okay, and I will also go to 252.
So, Hunting Party, when you use your Kindred distinction in a challenge, spend a PP to add an additional 6 for each of your allies undertaking the challenge with you. That's not bad.
That's pretty good, actually.
Resolute, spend a PP to add one of your stress dice to a contest or challenge, to a test, contest, or challenge. Step down that stress die afterwards. Tall Tales, when you win a contest, you can choose to keep an additional effect die to create an asset for yourself. I like hunting party. I think
I like
that's a
hunting
good
party too. Let's do hunting party.
Okay. Well, what is it? What was it called? Was it just unlocked
Unlocked, yeah.
for
We can
family?
choose from don't forget, we have the ones that do have the descriptions listed
Yes.
on the character sheet that we can
So,
also look at.
um, we also get the noble ones as well down here.
Uh-huh. But
So,
those are lap of luxury.
saving phase. Oh, it's saving, not save. Whoops.
So let's see. Lap of luxury is when you enjoy the hospitality of others during a recovery scene. Choose a stress die to step down twice instead of once. When you achieve a heroic success, you may keep an additional effect die to recover your afraid, angry, or insecure stress. And
Okay.
that's saving phase. You there, when you first meet someone of a lower station who isn't hostile towards you, you may gain them as a friendly asset for free.
A friendly asset. That, ooh. Actually, you there's really good. Because if you think about it, most people aren't going to be hostile towards a cat.
Yes, but it's only when you first meet someone of a lower station who isn't hostile to you.
That's
It's like most people's reaction to a cat is not initially necessarily going to be, well, I guess it depends on the context.
yeah.
If it appears that the cat is like with people, then it will probably be treated as, a friend.
Mhm.
Whereas if it's just roaming around on its own, it's far more likely to be seen as an inconvenience, especially like if it's like in the middle of the city in like a market or something, because like
True.
your merchants are gonna want to keep the cat away from the wares.
That's true. I didn't think about that last part.
So like it's entirely dependent on the context.
Yes. That makes it a really good what's it called? Role play element though. But let's look at the other ones we have.
I still think more people are going to like be friendly towards a cat than they would a regular noble.
Yes. I would agree. Like if I met Jeff Bezos' cat, I probably think the cat was pretty cool, but I'm not a big fan of Jeff Bezos himself. You
Exactly.
know what I
mean? you know exactly what. That's it. Yeah.
Let's see. The other ones we have for our vocation are Sure Sense. When you roll a hitch while using your awareness attribute, you can spend a PP to re-roll your dice pool. You must keep the new result. Or Keen Eye. Spend a PP to double your awareness or agility die in your dice pool when following a trail, aiming at a distant target, or spotting something far off. Not sure. And then lastly, under our quirk, we have the Had It Coming ability, which is when you push insecure stress, you do not have to spend a PP, which may come up later in that comes up later in gameplay. It's hard to judge which one of these we should unlock because these last few are mainly gameplay focused.
Yeah. Although, okay, so I've read the rest of you there, and it really sounds overpowered if people's general perception of this cat is like, it's with people, therefore it's probably friendly, it's managed.
Yeah, that's what I was, it just like, sounds OP.
When you first meet someone of a lower station who isn't hostile to you, you may gain them as a friendly asset for free. If you spend a PP, you may step up the die rating. And then this rating is basically used to recover from exhausted, injured, or insecure stress.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's OP for a cat.
Yep.
Do you want to unlock that one then?
Yeah.
To be fair, every time I see a cat on the street, if it is friendly, like I will try to be friends with cats on the street,
Yeah.
But there's one time I was walking down the Monon with a friend of mine, and me and her saw this cat, and it straight up like ran up to us, and I was like, "This is the greatest day of my life." We sat there and pet that cat for like 10 minutes. Who are you? Who? Anyways. You have your distinctions, attributes, and values. You've chosen specialties and assets and unlocked SFX. It's time to bring all of these together and present your PC to the rest of the group. Name. This kind of describes how humans and elves name,
Yeah.
the naming works. And then pronouns. Come on, we all passed what, 5th grade English? We know what pronouns are.
Yeah. So, like, okay, we know like how like the human and elf characters are named just from watching the show. But the show also gives us some idea of how pets are named.
True.
Because you have a glow toad named Bait.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to think. There was one other pet that we met, wasn't there?
In the new season, but funny enough, I don't think they gave the pet a name.
I can't remember it.
I have to look this up because I am pretty sure that they did not give it a name. What is it called? Lemur. It's like a lemur pet.
Right.
Cuddle monkeys. That is the name of the creature itself.
But what did Rayla name it?
Hold on.
I can't remember.
Stella.
Okay. So it did have a name.
It did. That's so weird. I don't think they mentioned that. I can't remember.
I don't remember them mentioning that either. So we have Bait and Stella. That gives us an idea of how humans name pets and how elves name pets.
There we go.
And this is a human named pet. So I can't say ham.
Can't say ham.
But we can say I don't know.
I'm trying to think because Bait was named off of his use outside of being a pet.
Right.
But what's a cat's use outside of being a pet?
Hunter.
Hunter. Hunter could be a good name for a cat.
Yeah. Or Mouser. Like that's kind of the idea. Like cats don't have a purpose. They just kind of came up to us one day and we came to an understanding.
We were like, "Hey yo, what's up?" And they were like, "Meow." And we were like, "Fuck yeah, I love that, dude."
But I mean, like people that like didn't mind when cats just hung out around their houses because it kept the critters out of their stuff.
True.
So like that's kind of like how the arrangement between cats and humans was formed.
Ooh, we could name it Trap. You know, maybe this cat came in and they didn't have to use like mouse traps or anything.
What about Mousetrap?
We could just name it Mousetrap.
I like the name Mousetrap.
I do too. Mousetrap.
Now, is Mousetrap a boy or a girl?
That's a good question. Also, I feel like we should change up how we spell mouse. Maybe.
Why?
Unless we just want just how mouse is spelled. Is that how you spell mouse?
Yeah, that's how you spell mouse.
Okay. Yeah, we'll leave it as is.
Okay.
The game suggests that we suggest choosing a name you'll be okay with. If you go with a real world name, try changing 1 or 2 letters to make it yours. But
oh, I see. I feel like that would make sense for like a human name.
yeah,
But like this is a pet name.
yeah, like if you're naming your human Steve, maybe you change
Add an E somewhere.
Yeah, add an E or like a U, so it's like Stew. You know. I think Mousetrap. Steuven. That's a good name. You know what? My firstborn child is going to be Steuven. Don't quote me on that. That's not happening.
Austin, your future wife is already listening to this episode. It's too late.
Oh God.
I don't know about that. Like,
I don't know about that one.
I can't promise you that.
Anyway. I guess we'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
Anyway, pronouns is what gender does this cat use?
I feel like I always have a hard time picking out like gender for cats because if I ever see a cat on the street, I'm just like, oh my gosh, look, it's a little guy. But obviously, I don't know the gender of all cats around. I feel like we could just I feel like Mousetrap would be, maybe a girl cat.
All right.
We do she, her.
And what kind of cat is this?
That's gonna be
black with white paws.
Black with white paw, like that. Those are the traps,
Mm-hmm.
And have we done a Maine Coon yet?
We have not. Those are
I
big.
They are big. I feel like royalty would really like, like Maine Coons feel like, you know, if
Technically, the if we're going with like the white paws and it's also got that like white spot on its chest, that's technically called a tuxedo cat.
oh, we can do a tuxedo cat. Hell yeah, tuxedo cat.
We do have to do a Maine Coon one of these days.
Absolutely.
Just like just like a big old chunky cat.
I love Maine Coons. They're so big and fluffy. Ah, they're great.
Have to give its we need to find a game that will allow us to give its floof some kind of power.
Oh my gosh, that would be incredible. And then
If anyone knows anything, please at me.
send it to us. And then I think that's it.
Yep.
Wow.
This is another situation where once we got past the fact that we're not supposed to be a cat, it was pretty much smooth sailing.
Oh yeah. That was easy peasy. I think, yeah, the only rule we broke was no cat player race. Everything was listed as human or elf.
Yep.
Although I did point out there is a cat in the artwork. They do exist in this world.
Yeah, we didn't have to add an entire new species to this. We scoured the book with the Control F in order to find any reference to cat, and we actually did find one.
Yes.
Just one single reference.
There is a reference to the cats in the special thanks section of the book that says the chickens, foster kittens, snakes, French bulldogs, and cats, both sweet and sassy, that helped and hindered us along the way. Also, I want to point. So they have all the cat names here, or all the pet names here. Great, everything. We got some great ones like Tortellini, Shirley, Iggy, Cecil, Onyx, Goober. But the last one says, but not Penzi. She knows what she did. I want to know what Penzi did that got them barely kicked out of the special things. What
you know what?
Penzi
You know what, Austin? Save that list.
Save this list?
Save the list. We will pull from it for fantasy cat names in the future.
I can put it into our shared Google Doc real quick.
Okay. That works.
Lots of
great
names.
Cortex team who worked on the Tales of Xadia RPG. Your cats are now going to be player characters in future episodes. Congratulations.
I'm sorry. Who named their pet Lawnmower?
Maybe that was one of the chickens. Maybe that was one of the chickens.
Could have been one of the chickens. Could have been a goat. We have no idea.
Could have been a goat.
I just want to know what Penzi did.
If anyone knows what Penzi did, would you please at us?
Please add us anywhere.
You can email us.
Email us. Send me a carrier pigeon.
Yeah. But I'm not even joking. Like, if you know what Penzi did, just tell us. We need to know.
I desperately want to know. Because that is so funny to me in the special thanks section.
It is very funny.
All right. Well, we have created a cat.
We have created a cat. Well, I guess if that's it, then it's time to move on to the final part of the episode where we talk about ourselves.
It's true.
So, Austin, what do you got going on these days?
I got a few things brewing in the old potion station. And by that I mean mostly just look out for me on streams. I'm not gonna lie, I've been really bad about keeping up with streams. But I want to change that this year. Perhaps a New Year's resolution. But I want to do more streams. I want to do different kinds of streams, I really want to do an art stream at some point because I'm trying to get back into art. So if you want, you can catch me over on Twitch at Avalon Alchemist. And if you want to follow me socially, you can do that on Twitter and Tumblr at also Avalon Alchemist. And in terms of things brewing in the back, this is an incredibly, you know what? I'm not gonna say this one because it's an incredibly long term goal that I've only just finished the starting basis for.
Okay.
So I'm gonna hold that one in, and then once it gets closer to time, all will be revealed.
Understandable.
What about you, Joel? What have you got going on?
Well, the I don't know. The basically this. I'm on the job hunt. I really love the game idea that I've kind of maybe mentioned once or twice on this podcast before, but I'm on the job hunt,
Mm-hmm.
and that is kind of its own job at this point. So, but I will have some time for game design coming up at the end of January. So, you know, after it will have already happened by time y'all hear this. But there's a game jam coming up, and I know a bunch of people participating in it. So I will try and I've requested some time off work. I will probably be participating in that game jam, and I don't know. I doubt I'll stream it because I got tired of streaming at 480p. Uh, but like if I participate in the jam and we successfully create a game, then I don't know. I'll link it in the show notes.
Heck yeah, I love game jams. They're always so cool to see what people can come up with.
Are you participating in this one?
I am not. I have not actually participated in a game jam yet. The most game jammy thing I did was, I worked with a couple of friends on like a very small like text-based project that we thought would be fun, and it was, but for some reason our coding was just like busted for it, so it never ended up working properly. It was fun though.
You could totally jam with me, you know.
I could. The only problem is I've been so out of practice with like coding and everything. I could still do it. I just have to look some stuff up. But if
Coding is my specialty anyway. So like, if you wanted to focus on like I don't know artwork or something,
I was about to say I could do artwork. We'll talk about this after the show. Because I might be interested.
All right, we yeah, we can't plan the entire jam on the episode. We that's not what people came here for, and also the theme isn't available yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I guess Austin and I are about to collab on a game jam. Fingers crossed. Check back. It's in the show notes,
Heck
and
yeah.
maybe there'll be a game link there. Who knows?
Well, I do. Okay, I don't have a what's it called? A cat pun this episode.
Oh,
But
we're not there yet, dude.
We're not there yet. Wait. Hold on.
No, we haven't given the show's information yet.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, that's right.
Also, I don't think I told people. You can follow me on Twitter or Tumblr at Denalo Lioge. If you don't know how to spell that, you can go to jholland.start.page. It will give you links to both sites and also to a whole bunch of other things. Some things are like active, others not so much. My portfolio's there. Also, the cat. The podcast has a start page as well. It's literalcatpod.start.page. You can find our email where you can send us information about a game that will allow us to give a cat the power of floof. You can find the show's Twitter and Tumblr so you can get news, and also please go to the Ask Us Anything button on the Literal Cat Pod Tumblr. We would love to answer your questions. Cat or RPG generally related. You can get a link to the YouTube channel. Oh yeah, there's not a link to this on the thing. I'm just gonna mention it real quick. If you wouldn't mind leaving us a rating or review, as far as I know, we don't have any yet. I've been checking all the places I know to check: Good Pods, Podcatcher, or Podchaser, and Apple Podcasts, and I've not seen that anyone's reviewed us yet. I would appreciate if we could get one review, at least one review. It would invigorate our spirits and also the algorithms to push the show to more people. That the second one is the big thing.
Yeah.
And finally, there is a link in the start page thing to access all of the character sheets. And if you just want to skip the skip the start page and go straight to the character sheets, from here, you can go to bit.ly/literal catpod. And I believe, if I am remembering it correctly, just typing it in real quick, yes, that takes you straight to the Dropbox. I said the right one.
Sweet.
And so now all the notes are out of the way, I think. And Austin, you can give us the cat pun.
Awesome. Apologies for jumping the gun, but
It's okay.
I have a cat reference because it's from a song. I'll let you guys know that. But it's been stuck in my head for like the past like 3 weeks.
All right.
So if anybody can tell me where this reference is from, I will sign your cat. But
Is that the reference?
No, it's a clump of lyrics that say, since 2005, I've been living a lie. I'm not even a man. I'm just a cat in disguise.
I couldn't tell you where that's from. Anyone else who knows where that's from, email it to literalcatpod@gmail.com, along with links to games about where to get the power of floof.
Also, cat pics.
Yeah, and cat pictures. You must pay the cat tax.
Please pay the cat tax.
Yep. We would appreciate the cat tax. More than anything, really. But anyway, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.